Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Spilling Studio. My name is Sam, and doing a bunch of practice questions was the biggest help for me when I was studying for my exams. So in this video, I've created 7 ARE practice questions designed to help you pass your next exam. There's one question per exam topic and a bonus question at the end, so stick around. Starting us off is practice management. Which of the following business organization types offers limited liability to its owners while allowing for pass-through taxation and flexibility in management structure? Partnership, corporation, sole proprietorship, or limited liability company? Feel free to pause here to answer. The answer is limited liability company. A limited liability company, or LLC, is a business structure that combines elements of a corporation and a partnership or sole proprietorship and offers limited liability to its owners or members. This means that the personal assets of the members are typically protected from the company's liabilities. Additionally, an LLC allows for pass-through taxation, where the company's profits and losses pass through to the members' personal tax returns, avoiding double taxation often seen at corporations. Furthermore, an LLC provides flexibility in its management structure. It can be managed either by its members, member managed, or appoint managers separate from the members, manager managed, allowing for different organizational structures based on the firm's needs and preferences. A partnership offers some degree of flexibility, but it typically does not provide the same level of limited liability protection as an LLC does. In a general partnership, each partner can be personally liable for the debts and obligations of the partnership. A corporation provides limited liability to its shareholders, but it is subject to double taxation. Taxes are paid both at the corporate level and then again on dividends distributed to its shareholders. Also, a corporation usually has a more rigid management structure compared to an LLC. In a sole proprietorship, there is no limited liability protection. The owner is personally liable for all the debts and obligations of the business. While it's simple and easy to establish, it lacks the personal protection that an LLC offers. Therefore, an LLC best represents the business organization type that combines limited liability protection, pass-through taxation, and flexibility in management structure for an architecture firm. Now on to project management. In an architecture firm, which scheduling technique primarily involves breaking down project activities into smaller, manageable components with defined durations and dependencies, and provides a final completion date? Gantt chart, critical path method, program evaluation and review technique, Kanban method? Pause here to answer. And the answer is critical path method. The critical path method, or CPM, breaks down project activities into smaller, manageable components with defined durations and dependencies. The chart graphically depicts all of the tasks needed to be completed, the sequence in which the task must occur, and each task's duration, as well as start and finish times. Gantt charts are useful for visualizing project schedules and timelines. They primarily display tasks or activities along a timeline, but may not explicitly depict the dependencies or critical path of a project. PERT is a statistical tool used in project management to analyze and represent the uncertainty and variation in the duration of project activities. Each task is provided with 3 time estimates: optimistic, normal, and pessimistic. While it considers durations, it does not provide a final completion date, and instead it provides 3 predicted dates. The Kanban method is a visual scheduling method used to manage workflow and tasks, typically in a continuous improvement context. It focuses on visualizing work, limiting work in progress, and enhancing flow. However, it does not specifically address breaking down the project activities into smaller components with defined durations and dependencies as a CPM does. Next up is programming and analysis. In urban design, a catchment area typically refers to The geographic boundary within which a community's social and economic influences are concentrated. The designated zone for recreational facilities and parks within a neighborhood. The primary traffic arteries connecting residential areas to commercial centers. Or the centralized area where community meetings and events are typically held. Pause to answer. And the correct answer is the geographic boundary within which a community's social and economic influences are concentrated. A catchment area is a region where the community's residents, businesses, services, and social interactions primarily occur and influence each other. It's commonly used in the context of schools, healthcare facilities, retail centers, transportation hubs, or other public amenities. Zoning regulations might consider catchment areas when planning for the development or expansion of facilities. They help in determining the capacity and impact of a development on the surrounding community. For example, when planning for a new school, zoning regulations might consider the population density within the catchment area to ensure the school can accommodate the expected number of students. Catchment areas also play a role in urban development and infrastructure planning by considering the transportation needs, access to services, and distribution of resources within a specific region. They assist planners and policymakers in making informed decisions regarding the allocation of resources and the development of various services based on the needs of the community within that defined geographic boundary. Now on to project planning. In a coastal city prone to heavy rainfall, a building owner intends to protect the basement walls that are below the water table from moisture ingress. To address this concern, what should the architect recommend? Use damp-proofing for complete protection against water penetration, since waterproofing only offers partial resistance to moisture. Use waterproofing for areas with high water table, since hydrostatic pressure will be present. Use waterproofing for areas with a high water table, since hydrostatic pressure will be present. Suggest damp proofing since it involves the use of waterproof membranes, whereas waterproofing typically relies on sealants and coatings. Or recommend using damp proofing since it is the best for dealing with water under hydrostatic pressure and high water tables, whereas waterproofing should be used for areas not under hydrostatic pressure. Pause here to answer. And the correct answer is use waterproofing for areas with a high water table since hydrostatic pressure will be present. Damp proofing involves methods to control moisture and inhibit the transmission of water vapor through surfaces such as walls or foundations. It's used to control moisture that is not under hydrostatic pressure. Damp proofing should not be used on elements below the water table because that's where your hydrostatic pressure is. When you go below the water table, that's when you use waterproofing. Waterproofing is intended to create a barrier that is impermeable to liquid water, effectively preventing water infiltration under hydrostatic pressure. It's designed to withstand exposure to water and provides a more robust defense system against water penetration compared to damp proofing. Given the scenario of a coastal city, the priority would be to establish an impermeable barrier against water to protect the basement walls. Since this question tells us that we are below the water table, then waterproofing should be used, not damp proofing. A brief pause here to remind you that I post new questions every week, so please hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on a video. And it really helps me out, so thank you. Now on to project development. During the design phase of a residential deck project, the engineering team is choosing the appropriate hardware for connecting the deck's support posts to the beams. The team aims to select the component that provides support and stability while allowing for proper load transfer from the beams to the post. Which connection hardware component is most suitable for securely fastening the beams to the support post in this scenario? Joist hanger, post cap, saddle hanger, post base. Pause to answer. And the correct answer is post cap. A post cap is specifically designed to provide stability and secure attachment between vertical, support posts, and horizontal beams. It typically consists of a metal bracket that is anchored to the post and provides a stable connection for the beam. They are effective in transferring loads from the beams to the post while offering structural support. Our other three options do not connect beams to posts. A post base is used to firmly connect posts to concrete footings or foundations. It's designed to transfer the load from the post to the foundation. It's not used to connect posts to beams. Joist hangers are used to attach deck joists to ledger boards or beams, providing support for horizontal members like joists, but are not designed for connecting vertical posts to beams. Saddle hangers are often used for suspending horizontal beams or attaching joists, but they are not used for connecting posts to beams. In the context of securely fastening support posts to beams in a deck construction project, the post cap is especially engineered for this purpose, providing a stable connection, load transfer, and structural support between vertical posts and horizontal beams, ensuring the deck's stability and integrity. Next up is construction evaluation. A client is initiating a construction project for a new office building and seeks a project delivery method that promotes collaboration among stakeholders, including the architect, engineers, and contractors. The client values early involvement from the construction team for input during the design phase. Which project delivery method best aligns with the client's objectives for collaborating and early involvement of the construction team? Construction manager as contractor, construction manager at risk, design bid build, or integrated project delivery? Pause to answer. The correct answer is integrated project delivery. IDP is a collaborative approach that involves all key stakeholders, including the owner, architect, engineers, contractors, and sometimes even subcontractors, working together from the project's inception. It emphasizes early involvement and integration of various disciplines, fostering collaboration, shared risk, and collective decision-making throughout the project's lifecycle. In this scenario described, the client's objectives include promoting collaboration among stakeholders and early involvement of the construction team. IPD aligns with these objectives by encouraging a collaborative environment where expertise from different fields is integrated from the project's beginning. This method allows for shared responsibilities and collective problem solving, enhancing communication and fostering a team-based approach to the project delivery. With construction manager as contractor, the construction manager acts as the contractor, but might not necessarily provide the same level of collaborative integration of stakeholders seen in IPD. In this method, the owner contracts with the construction manager for two phases, pre-construction and construction. They provide consulting, scheduling, and cost estimating in the pre-construction phase, and then they build it. Construction manager at risk is just like construction manager as contractor, except it involves a GMP, which stands for Guaranteed Maximum Price, meaning the CMR gives the owner a quote for the maximum the owner will pay to complete the project. This puts the contractor at risk, since they now have to make sure that they get the project done at that price. If they do go over budget, they cannot send a change order to the owner. No, the contractor has to cover that cost. Design bid build is your traditional project delivery method. With this method, roles are clearly defined between the owner, architect, and contractor, and work moves in a clear linear fashion, which limits collaboration between stakeholders and lacks the early involvement of the construction team as compared to IPD. Given the emphasis on collaboration and early involvement of the construction team, integrated project delivery stands out as the project delivery method that best supports these objectives by allowing for a highly collaborative and integrated approach among all stakeholders from start to finish. Last but not least, our bonus question is: a construction manager is organizing a pre-construction meeting for an upcoming commercial building project. The primary goal is to ensure that all stakeholders are aligned, understand project goals, and are aware of their responsibilities before commencing construction activities. Which of the following topics is most likely to be discussed during the pre-construction meeting? detailed project schedule, selection of interior finishes, review of change order procedures, or long-term maintenance plan? Pause to answer. And the answer is detailed project schedule. Pre-construction meetings brings together all stakeholders involved in the project and sets a clear roadmap for the construction process. Discussing the detailed project schedule during this conference is crucial to ensure that everyone understands the timeline, milestones, and critical activities throughout the construction phase. This discussion allows stakeholders to plan and coordinate their tasks accordingly, ensuring smoother project execution. The selection of interior finishes is typically discussed in design or coordination meetings rather than the pre-construction meeting. Change order procedures might be discussed during the pre-construction meeting to a certain extent, but their detailed review is usually part of contractual discussions and project management meetings. Long-term maintenance plans are essential but are often addressed after construction completion or in post-construction meetings focused on the building's operation and maintenance. Some other items that might be discussed during pre-construction meetings are how communications will be handled, procedures for RFIs and submittals, changes in the work, access to the site, sustainability requirements, site visits by team members, coordination among team members, reporting required by the contractor, tolerances of critical elements, and partial occupancy. That wraps up our questions for this week. Remember to check out the description for a list of some of my favorite study books. Let me know in the comments what subject areas you're struggling with, and I'll do my best to cover it in the next video. Thank you all for joining. Please subscribe, and good luck on your next exam. You got this!